Good morning once again. So last time we were asking the question, what should be the main objective of any business organization? And you came up with some answers like to maximize profits or to satisfy customers. And we said that from a finance perspective, the main objective of any business organization should be wealth maximization or to maximize shareholder value. That is not to say that maximizing profit is not important or satisfying customers is not important. That's not the point. The question is what's the main objective? And last time we said that there's a difference between maximizing shareholder value and profit maximization in terms of planning. When we focus on profit maximization, we become myopic, we become short-sighted, because what we would want is to increase the bottom line at all costs. So we may cut back on discretionary expenditures like advertising, research, or even maintenance of equipment just to make the bottom line or the net income rosy or let's say good. Okay, so some expenses are treated, some costs are treated as expenses. Okay, when in fact they should be treated instead as investments. For example, training of staff. Yes, by cutting on training, the company might earn more profits. However, the net effect of which in the long run might be bad for the company. And we know of some companies that fail because their staff are not trained to handle, for example, handle customer service, and customers do not become repeat customers because of the terrible experiences that they have with the company. So there's a difference between shareholder wealth maximization and profit maximization in terms of planning duration. Also, there's a difference in terms of risk management. When we talk about wealth maximization, the focus is really on protecting the assets of the firm on a long-term basis. So that's why we had examples of derivatives, if you recall, right? So derivatives, we have forwards, example, futures, options, swaps, among other things. Okay, and these derivatives have the intention of protecting or hedging the company against possible risk, which is not the main goal in profit maximization. Okay, it is less likely to pay for hedges that could reduce the organization's risk profile. So we said that futures are very important to mitigate against risk, especially in highly volatile markets involving commodities like oil. Okay, although there is still some risk. Okay, but we can have this option. Okay, I think did I give an example of option last time, class? Can you chat please, if yes or no? No or yes? Did I give an example of options last time? No. Okay. So, but I think I gave an example of futures, right? We discussed futures, right? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So let me just introduce you one slide. Okay, so if you recall, a forward or futures, they're both contracts where one party agrees to buy from another party, delivery which is at a future date. The difference is that a forward is a private transaction. It's conducted between two parties, A and B, where A agrees to deliver to B, okay, the whatever they're agreeing upon to buy at a particular price. On the other hand, for a future, you also have a buyer A and a buyer B. However, transaction is conducted in a market. Okay, so there's this established futures market. Okay, and then it's the market that arranges the transaction between A and B. So A and B do not necessarily know each other. Unlike in a forward, A really knows B and B knows A. So it's like buying stock in a stock market. When you buy shares of, let's say, Globe Telecoms, you do not know who you bought from. Okay, and also if you're the buyer of Globe Telecom stock and B is the seller, you do not know who bought your shares of stock. It's the market, it's the stock market that arranges everything. Okay, so the same manner with the futures. A will buy, for example, contract to buy 1 million barrels of oil to be delivered on December 31. A does not know who the seller was. Okay, and we said that futures can go either way. If, let's say, the price of oil now is at $80, and we bought in the futures market 1 million barrels of oil at $80 to be delivered on December 31. Okay, and then come December 31, on December 31, the price of oil in the spot market is where you buy the commodity at that specific time. Okay, the price of the spot market of oil was, let's say $90, then that's good because you were able to save $10. Had you bought in the spot market on December 31, the company would have lost 10 million, okay, because it's 1 million barrels of oil. Okay, but it can go either way. What if the price of oil on December 31, the spot market became $50 per barrel? So you would have lost the company $30 million. So futures also poses some risk. Okay, hence enter options. In an option, where you buy it from the options market, it's like here, there's a market there. What you buy only the option. Okay, you're not buying the commodity itself. For example, same transaction. Okay, you buy the option to buy oil $80, 1 million barrels on December 31. If on December 31 the price of oil went down to 50, okay, so what will you do? Then you will not exercise the option. So you lost, but you only will lose the premium. And the premium is, of course, lesser than the price of the commodity itself, because you're only buying the option to buy or option to sell. It depends on the transaction. So you will exercise the option if the price goes down. Okay, because rather than exercise this option, you'll buy now at the spot market. Why will you exercise this option at $80 when on December 31 the spot market was at 50? Okay. On the other hand, if the spot price was 90, okay, so there was a there's a $10 differential, and let's say let's say for purposes of example, the option price is only, let's say, I'm exaggerating, $1. Okay, the option price is $1 per barrel, for example. Okay, so you will exercise the option because your total cost will be the price of the commodity plus the option price, that's 81 per barrel, as compared to buying it from the stock market at 90. Okay, so that's how an option option transaction looks like. Okay. All right. So going back to our discussion, wealth maximization or shareholder value maximization differs from profit maximization not only in planning capacity, planning duration, I mean, but also in risk management. Thirdly, it also differs in terms of pricing strategy. Because for profit maximization, the main focus really is either in increasing the price or in cutting back the cost. Okay, because the price increase will increase revenues for the company. Okay, so the objective is to price your products as high as possible in order to increase margins. On the other hand, for wealth maximization, the company may, at certain instances, okay, they could elect to reduce prices. The objective is to garner market share over the long term, to establish itself more in the market. So that's one difference between wealth maximization and profit maximization. And sorry. And lastly, in terms of capacity planning, okay, there's also a difference between mindset. For profit maximization, since again, it seeks to lower cost. So a profit-oriented business will spend just enough its productive capacity to handle existing sales. Okay, so the focus is really more on short-term sales forecast. On the other hand, wealth maximization will spend more heavily on capacity, spend on R&D, spend on equipment in preparation for a long-term sales projection. So you can see the difference between just focusing on short-term increasing net income because it will make the management, let's say, very good in the eyes of the board of directors or the shareholders because they're able to increase profitability for the short term, not considering the negative effects it might have on the future. Okay, so among other things, these are the reasons why there's a difference between wealth maximization and profit maximization. Okay, let me pause for a while. I'll appreciate your feedback if it's clear so far, class. Okay, thank you. The others, please. Waiting for the others to give their feedback. Only 2 out of 21 responded. Thank you. Okay, let's wait for the others to at least give their feedback kung clear ba yung we're distinguishing between wealth maximization and profit maximization. Okay, a few more seconds for the others to respond. I'm expecting around 7 or 8 more to at least give me feedback if clear so far yung apat na distinction na to. This is really the problem with face-to-face, no? Kasi pag nag-check na attendance, I really don't know what you're doing now there, or some will just have their attendance check and then they will not participate, no? Kasi so far, only 14, ibig sabihin there are 7 who are not responding. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. 7 did not respond. Where are you? 7 did not respond. Okay, so that's why I'm not sure if, have you heard of the triple bottom line, class? Paki-chat naman, please. Ever heard of the triple bottom line? Okay, yes, and please report. Okay, so good. So which means that, all right, you're familiar with that, no? Yung 3 P's or 3 E's. So that's why, okay, thank you. When we talk of shareholder value maximization, we may also talk of the triple bottom line, 3 P's or 3 E's. Okay. Why is that so? 3 P's, hindi natin, oops. Diba? 3 P's, which is, of course, profit is very important. The people, not only employees, but can be the community where the company is located, and also the planet, the environment. So others call this 3 E's: economy, okay, in general, employee. Employee, when we say employee, not only those that are employed by the organization, but also employee in the sense that those other people outside of the organization that they deal with, and environment or ecology. Okay, so this is what we call the triple bottom line, because this school of thought tells us that profit maximization, in a sense, is lacking. So it should not only be profit maximization, but we should also look at the different stakeholders. Okay, so let me discuss that briefly. Okay, that's why some would say that it should not be limited to shareholder value maximization. Okay, because some would say that why only focus on shareholders? There are many stakeholders as regards a company. Okay, so could you please identify who are parties that are interested in the well-being of the organization? Who would want the organization to succeed? So anybody, please? Which party or which organization or entity are interested in the well-being of the organization? Anyone? Okay, Skylar, thank you. Of course, as shareholders, no? Let's put our circle here. Shareholders. Okay. Kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na shareholder value maximization. Shareholders themselves are interested in the well-being of the organization. Why? Shyler, why shareholders? What's the motivation? What's the benefit for shareholders?
It's because if the organization does well, they'll earn a lot.
Okay, so they receive a return in the form of, what return do they receive? In the form of, this is, what do shareholders get from the firm? Skylar, what's this? Okay, sige. Thank you, Skylar. Anyone, please, would like to answer this? Skylar mentioned that shareholders are very much interested in the well-being of the organization. Yeah, that's very true. And we said, what are the why? What's the motivation for shareholders? What do they get in return for being part owner of the company? Yes, Fiona?
Sir, profit po, and then i-invest po nila.
I wrote something here. Ito. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
I wrote D and CA. I think yeah, Skylar, thank you. Yeah, dividends. No? Dividends. Okay, of course, shareholders get dividends. Okay, when there's excess cash, the company through the board of directors might decide to issue dividends. So this is returning cash to the shareholders. And aside from that, Maxine, you said capital. What do you mean by capital? Maxine?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. I see it's equity capital somehow related with stock, share, or stock market.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, capital, but this is not necessarily capital because when you say capital, what does that mean? Does the company give them additional shares of stocks? So what do shareholders get in return for investing in the company? Capital what? Cash? It's already dividends, Diana. Thank you. And please share your answer to everyone, please. Wag lang sa akin, so that your classmates can see your answers. Cash is already your dividends. Okay, what's this? Okay, let me give an example. If I bought Globe at 50 pesos per share, and then after 2 years, it became 90 pesos per share. What's that? Did I benefit from my investment with Globe? Yeah. Okay, Pauline, kindly share your answer, please, to everyone. Guys, no need to remind you, please. Yung answers nyo. Okay, thank you, Pauline. Yeah, that's called capital appreciation, right? I think I mentioned this to you before. Okay, your investment in that company grows over time because the share price increases over time, and that's what we call capital appreciation. So, okay, thank you. So shareholders are interested in the well-being of the organization. What else? Can you give us other parties? Let's try to identify more parties that are interested in the well-being of the firm. Which other parties, class? Employees, okay? Paki-share yung answer nyo, guys, to everyone. Please don't just show to me your answers. Yes, correct? Mm-hmm. Let me just write here. So employees. Okay, why employees, guys? Of course, that's self-explanatory. Employees will derive their compensation, their livelihood, their work from the firm. The firm provides them with the work opportunity, and they earn their salary, they earn their compensation, they earn their livelihood. Okay? So employees would want the organization to succeed. Okay? Because if the organization closes, if the organization becomes if the organization becomes bankrupt, employees are really affected. Loss of job, and especially in a time when it's very difficult to find work. Okay, if they're not unemployed, then they will not have the means to support their families. Okay, and that's very self-explanatory. Who other parties, guys? What other parties? Consumers, yes, definitely. Yes, Shiler, can you explain why consumers, why are they interested in the well-being of the organization?
Sir, because they get benefit from the products.
Yes, of course, of course. They need the product, they need the services of the firm, right? So customers are interested. If you're a Globe subscriber, a PLD subscriber, you would want the company, the service provider, to succeed, because the success of the company would mean better services, right? So we know that the internet connectivity here, the speed is very low compared to other countries in ASEAN or Asia. Okay, and we hope that one day Globe, PLDT, and the other players, Dito, Converge, will really get their acts together and really provide fast internet service to the Filipinos, right? So customers in general are interested in the well-being of the organization. I don't think you'll be a customer of the firm if you want that firm to to become bankrupt. Okay, so that's a given. Customers or their clients would want the firm to succeed and provide them with better services, more efficient ones, better performing, etc. Okay, so other parties. So far we have named shareholders, employees, investors. Kanina pala, I think Christine, you mentioned something about. Yeah, I forgot to mention this. Yeah, Christine, investors. But uh, who are the investors of the firm, Christine? Who are the investors? Christine? Sino mga investors? Kasi you mentioned a while ago, investors. Actually, one of them is already mentioned here. Yung shareholders, investors siya. Okay, anyone? Class? Would like to add on to that, investors? Sino pang, generally, dalawang klaseng investor kasi. No? Sino yung isa pang investor? Yung isa shareholder. Who's the other one? Okay, thank you, Diana. Paki-share ulit yung answer nyo to everyone. Okay, class, I need not remind you again yung mga answer nyo, paki-share to everyone so that everyone will see. Okay, thank you, Diana. You're correct. Bakit ba? Why? Why do you think creditors are also investors? Okay, class, are creditors interested in the well-being of the organization? Yes, definitely, because okay, the creditors would want the company to be able to pay their obligations, their debt. Okay, so see, creditors are interested in the well-being of the organization. Okay, any other parties you can think of that would want the firm to succeed? Okay, suppliers, thank you. You're correct. Of course, the suppliers would want the firm to succeed because they take business from the firm. They provide the firm with either raw material components or other forms of services. And if the firm collapses, the suppliers will lose a customer. Okay, so that's self-serving yung syempre, the suppliers would want to have a continuing relationship with the firm for them to be able to generate more sales from the firm. And if the firm collapses, then there goes a customer from their perspective. Okay, any other entity that's interested in the well-being of the firm? Shareholders, employees, customers, creditors. Okay, government. Yes, thank you. Shiler, that's true. It's correct. Government. Of course. For what? Why is government interested in the well-being of the organization? It's economy, correct? Taxes, yes, thank you. That's correct. No? An enhanced economy would mean people will be better. Politics, guys. No? So if, for example, one, like in the States now, so States kasi, you have Republicans, you have Democrats, you have the independents. No? So the government is interested that the firms, okay, during their watch, are all performing. So their sources of revenues, and also it's an indication that they're good in governing. Okay, so like now in the U.S., inflation rate is so high. It looks like in the next round of election, so there will be a midterm election on November 8th in the U.S. So the forecasters are saying that since the Democrats are holding power now, it looks like there will be a change of power, change of party rule. So, and it's all because of maybe corporate governance or the performance of government. So the government is keen on the well-being of the firm for purposes of tax, because of course, if the firm collapses, then how can they collect taxes on a closed firm? Okay, and some other entities, guys. Any other entities you can think of? Okay, so I've identified almost all, I think. And let me see, let me add one more. How about the community? The community in where the company is situated. Of course, they would want the firm to be a good social citizen. They would not want the firm to pollute the natural resources, the environment. They would not want the firm to pollute the rivers or to pollute the air. They would want the firm to do civic contributions like lights, roads, medical community services or employment, etc. Okay, so we have identified these parties to be very interested in the well-being of the organization. That's why some would say that it should not be shareholder value maximization. It should not be shareholder value maximization, but rather stakeholder value. Stakeholder value maximization. Okay, which means that the focus should not be only on this, on the shareholders, that the firm exists so that it will also satisfy the needs of the other parties. Okay, although in theory, this sounds really very good, stakeholder value maximization. However, in practice, this can be very difficult. Okay, because it might be difficult for the firm to balance all the requirements, all of the needs of these parties. Okay, in fact, if there are some conflicts, okay, what if there's a conflict between the supplier and the creditor? For example, there's a conflict between their interests. So who does the firm put first? Okay, does the firm come up with a list of those that they need to satisfy first? In that case, then can we still call it a stakeholder value maximization when the firm looks at this as ranked stakeholders? So, for example, shareholders number 1, number 2 is what? Should be customers, etc. So the firm might find it difficult really religiously, okay, religiously satisfy this stakeholder value maximization. So for our purposes, we will just speak first to this objective, okay, which is shareholder value maximization. Okay, and we are aware that there are other parties that are interested in the well-being of the organization, and that they expect the firm to deliver to them, okay, whatever needs that they have. For example, to the community, to be a good corporate citizen, to be a good community citizen by not polluting the environment, by not causing disease in that location, and then by positively contributing to the welfare of the organization. And so does the government also want the firm to succeed, etc. So all of these parties, the employees, the customers, creditors, the shareholders, of course, they're interested in the well-being of the organization. Okay, so we said that theoretically, stakeholder value maximization is a very good objective, but the implementation of that is really it's more good in theory than the implementation will really be quite difficult. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Let me pause for a while, and may I ask everyone to please key in. So far, is the discussion about the stakeholder value maximization clear? Kindly chat, please, kung yes, or if you have any questions, I'd appreciate you chatting. Okay, this was taken in the context of stakeholder value maximization. Okay, let's wait for the others to respond. Okay, a few more seconds. Okay. 7, a while ago, there were 7 who did not respond. And now 6, okay, at least that's an improvement. Okay, thank you for those who responded. I hope we get 100% response from you. I don't know why you just have to answer yes or no. So that only means that there are 6 of you here who temporarily, or I don't know, permanently left the room. Okay, so I hope we do better next time, class. I'm only asking simple questions, just a confirmation from your end. And if I don't get 100% response, it means that some of you are not there. Either you're too lazy to chat yes, or you don't know the question because you're not there, or you're doing something else. Okay, so let's go to this question: what is finance? Because this is what this subject is all about. This is foundation of finance. So there are many definitions about finance. Okay, let's take a look at some of them. So finance traces its roots from economics. Okay, and we know economics, the main thrust of economics is that how to optimize resources, because resources are scarce, they're not infinite. So there's this objective of how to manage resources well. That's the main thrust of economics. It's resource management. Okay. Sorry about that. So when we say finance, it takes its roots from economics. And as I said, economics, the main consideration of economics is that resources are limited, so it has to be allocated properly. So just like economics, finance also looks at resource allocation, but not only that, it also takes a look at resource management, resource acquisition, okay, and sorry, ulit yung management here. So resource management and acquisition. So simply, finance deals with matters related to money. Okay, so this is according to InvestoWord. Okay, finance has something to do with how money is how the resources of the firm, most particularly money, how is it acquired, how is it managed, how are funds flow managed in the company. Okay, so that's one definition. There are other definitions. This one says that finance is both an art and a science. The same manner, I don't know if you have met in your accounting that accounting is treated also both as an art and a science. However, for finance, it's the management of money. So it looks at the processes, the processes of acquiring funds, the processes of lending funds, the process, what are the institutions that come with it, what are markets, what are instruments. These are the parties that are involved in transferring money among individuals, businesses, and governments. Okay, so that's the definition made by Gitman, which I believe is a very good definition because finance is all about the flow of funds, the flow of money among individuals, businesses, and government. Okay, so Kion, on the other hand, says that finance deals with the maintenance and creation of economic value or wealth. So this has something to do with shareholder value. So Kion said that finance is all about creating value for the shareholders and also the other stakeholders. But the main thrust will be the creation of value or economic value or shareholder value or wealth for the shareholders. Okay, some would think that finance is just an extension of accounting. Okay, nothing can be further from the truth. Finance is different from accounting. The goal of accounting, the primary goal of accounting is to generate financial reports culled from past transactions. So accounting is more backward looking. It focuses on recording properly what transpired in the past and coming up with a report, okay, financial statements to present fairly what happened in the past. On the other hand, others would think that corporate finance is more on modeling or it's just a subsector of banking. Okay, these are part and parcel of finance. Finance uses the financial statements, okay, for decision making. So without the financial statements, which is the product of accounting, and the finance function would be it would be difficult for them to come up with good decisions. Finance makes use of the product of accounting, and finance also engages in modeling, but that's not all. And finance also is related to banking in a sense, okay? But these are just part and parcel of finance, okay? They don't tell us the full picture. Okay, so, and just to summarize what I just mentioned, so finance covers anything that involves the use of money in a corporate setting. So which means that whether all the departments in an organization, whether it's marketing, operations, HR, people management, accounting, IT, okay, they will need the services of finance. Okay, they cannot escape the, should we call, tentacles of finance. Marketing man yan, or operations, or HR, or accounting, or IT, okay, the influence of finance will be felt. Okay, every decision, okay, in a business. So whether it's an HR decision, a marketing decision, IT decision, that has financial implications. So for example, HR, they would want to invest in a HRIS, Human Resource Information System, which will make the, let's say, the payroll function easier to handle, or let's say benefits. Okay, so if the HR or the talent management department will need an IS, which can be costly, then they cannot just decide that on their own. They will need the inputs of finance to determine whether that project is feasible or not based on a cost and benefit analysis, for example. So whatever department, if their decision has any financial implications, it will affect finance, and finance will have to have a say in the decision making. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Broadly speaking, everything that a business does fits under the rubric of corporate finance. Okay, let's take a look at this example. Okay, pricing of products. Okay, strategies on pricing, strategies on giving discount. That's a function of marketing, pero they will have to collaborate with that with finance. Because just by changing the pricing, that could affect the bottom line, and finance can provide a study by which to say what will be the impact of this in the next years, etc. Okay, so whether it's marketing or accounting and IS, okay, or as I mentioned a while ago, human capital or organizational behavior, or this is HR, okay, and investment in corporate strategy, for example, in operations, all of these functionalities, okay, will need the inputs of finance, in particular, if there are decisions that have financial implications. Okay, let me pause for a while. Okay, and ask everyone, is this clear, class? Yung pervasiveness ng influence ng finance? Kasi others would say, marketing is more important than finance. Actually, that's very wrong. In an organization, you should not think of functionalities like marketing, accounting as silos, no? Parang separate na sila. Connected yung mga yan. They're all connected. They work hand in hand to improve the performance of the firm. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much for your responses. So you cannot say that finance is the most important, okay, or marketing is the most important. Okay, all of them contribute to the well-being of the organization. And if you take a look at the organization as a system, okay, which we call the systems thinking approach, these functions of any business entity are all important. Of course, they may not be equally important. Some might be really, let's say, their contribution is more pervasive. Okay, but all of them are important, but maybe not to the same degree. Okay, so as far as corporate finance is concerned, all aspects here, especially if there are all decision making, especially if there are any financial implications, should have a say-so of the finance, of corporate finance. Okay, now let's take a look at some principles, basic or fundamental principles of financial management. Okay, we know that any discipline, okay, whether it's physics or chemistry or biology or whatever field, economics, accounting, all of them have fundamental principles. Okay, sa finance, we have three fundamental principles that are the bedrock of finance. Of course, there are supplementary principles, but these three principles include: number one, the investment principle; number two, the financing principle; and number three, the dividend principle. So what are these principles? Okay, first, investment principle. So finance plays a major role. So for example, you have three projects, A, B, C. Okay, these projects can be what we call independent, or they can be mutually exclusive. Okay, what's the difference? Sorry, mutually exclusive. Exclusive. Sorry for the handwriting. So this is C. Exclusive, mutually exclusive. What's the difference between these two types of projects? When we say independent, okay, as the name suggests, A, B, or C does not affect each other. So which means that you can choose A, okay, without necessarily affecting your choice for B. You can choose all of these projects at the same time and invest in them. Okay, of course the constraint will just be the budget, the funding. So if all these three projects are okay and the management has the resource for them, then the company can push through with these three projects. On the other hand, if we say mutually exclusive, okay, the choice of one, okay, negates the other. So let's say the company is going to buy a computer, okay? So there are three options, whether it's brand A, brand B, brand C. Okay, so the choice of brand A will mean that brand B and brand C will no longer be chosen. And it's called a mutually exclusive project. Okay, so what's the function of finance here? Finance has to decide, okay, which project to invest in. So that's not the role of marketing or accounting. That's the role of finance. What projects should the company invest in? Okay, so let's give another example. So are you familiar with a mother company like Ayala Corporation? Okay, are you familiar, class, with Ayala Corporation? Okay, thank you. All right, Ayala Corporation is the mother company. Okay, and being the mother company, Ayala decides, so this Ayala. Ayala Corporation, AC, will decide in which businesses the conglomerate Ayala will engage in. Okay, so can you kindly name what are the businesses Ayala Corporation is engaged in? Anyone, please? Anyone? Yes. Okay. Real estate, Shiler, what's the name of the company? Please name the company. And these are what we call SBUs. Okay, this is SBU1, this is SBU2. SBU stands for Strategic Business Units. Strategic Business Unit. Okay, so what are the SBUs of Ayala? Okay, Ali, okay, thank you. Ayala Land. Okay, what else? Okay, there are so many guys. Can you name any SBU of Ayala? Ayala Corporation, this is AC. Ayala Corporation. What other companies, guys, are owned by, maybe partly or wholly owned by Ayala Corporation? Yes, thank you. Ayala Malls. Okay, Ayala Malls, yes. Ayala Malls. What else, guys? Class? There are a lot. Any other answers, please? Andito na. Avida Land is part of Ali, Ayala Land. Ayala Land yung real estate nila. Diyan si Alveo, Alvida, Avida, sorry. Globe, of course. Ayala Museum, okay. Ayala Museum, Globe. Ayala Museum, it's more of an NGO, I think. Ayala Museum is not a company. I'm not sure if it's part of Ayala Malls or Ali. Okay, I'm not sure if Ayala Museum is a company. Maybe not. Huh? Manila Water, yes. BPI, yes. So BPI, ang dami guys. Manila Water, Manila Water. What else? There are many companies that Apex schools. Okay, I'm not sure about the Apex school, but sige, let's put it here. Although I'm not sure in particular. Honda, yes, they're part owner of Honda. Yes. Okay, so many guys. So many. Before they owned Pure Foods, no? Which is now bought by San Miguel by Pure Foods, I think so. All right, these are what we call SBUs, strategic business units. Okay. And why does Ayala do this? Why do you think Ayala puts its money in several baskets? Why? What's the operative word for that? Give me just one word or two words. Why? Why not just Globe seems to be very profitable. Why not just put it in Globe? It's all about those two words were already mentioned before. In fact, I mentioned it during the first part of our lessons. And we were differentiating between wealth and profit maximization. Okay, class? And we were looking at wealth maximization. I mentioned that word. What's this? Why do you think Ayala or other companies, SM Group, Gokongwei Group, Rubina, okay, why will they put their funds in different industries? That's four. And the process is called, by the way, D. This process of putting your resources in different industries is called, okay, thank you, Gerard. You're correct. Gerard said diversification. That's true. That's correct. So diversification. What for? For, it's part of risk management class. Okay? It's part of risk management. Imagine if Ayala Corporation only had Globe. And if Globe suffers because for whatever reason, okay, then there goes their investment. But if they are invested in several industries, okay, what will happen? It will mitigate against the risk. When one industry fails, okay, the other industry might not be affected, then it will hedge the company Ayala Corp from risk. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Hedging. And Shiler said not to keep all the eggs in one basket. Precisely. Okay, so thank you, gentlemen. Shiler, thank you. Gerard, thank you. Those are correct. So whose role is this? This is the role of finance. Finance will have to help the company decide in which industries is the company going to invest in, especially if it's a multi-business firm. Okay, firms that are relatively big and they have seen the advantage of putting their resources in several SBUs. Okay, so whose role is that? That's the role of finance. So very critical. The role of finance is very critical. Okay, where's that? Okay, what happened here? Okay, nasa labas siya. Sa animation to, no? So decide what projects or acquisitions to invest in. So not only projects, but also acquisitions. Okay. Recently, did you hear the news that BPI will be, I'm not sure if it's a merge merger, or acquisition. Part of the role of finance is what we call M&As. M&As. M&As, so mergers and acquisitions. Okay, so BPI, I heard will merge or acquire. I'm not so sure yet. Robinson's Bank. Okay, Robinson's Bank is a smaller bank. So BPI will merge with the Robinson's Bank. So that's what happened when for Metro Bank with Solid Bank before Metro Bank with there are many. Recently, we have Land Bank and UCPB, okay, merging. Okay, so that's the role of finance to determine whether it's profitable for the firm to, let's say, acquire, for BPI to acquire Robinsons. Okay, and any decision here, okay, finance is driven by this principle: earn the highest possible risk-adjusted return. So we'll get back to that. We'll be discussing risk-adjusted return. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, let me just tell you the onset that this just means that it takes into consideration the time value of money, risk-adjusted returns. Okay, so aside from investment principle, we also have this principle, financing. What's financing principle? Okay, financing principle seeks to define or determine where will the funds be coming from? So where will it be coming from? Okay, so will it be coming from shareholders? So should they encourage shareholders to infuse more capital, or should they should they ask borrow to fund this project? Okay, so okay, let me introduce another slide. Okay, so we know that in basic equation is assets is equal to liabilities plus equity, right? We know that assets, if we divide everything by assets, what do we have now here? We have here 100%, and this is your, okay, what's this, class? This is your debt ratio, and this is your equity ratio. Okay, let me ask you one thing, class. I want everyone to be keying in their answer. Please chat. Okay, my question is, what do you think? Okay, what do you think? This is called, by the way, your capital structure. Okay, the percentage of your asset that's provided by debt, the percentage of your assets that's fused by coming from infusion by the shareholders. So for some, they say it's 50-50. For some, they say it's 60-40. Okay, so let me pose this question to you. Kindly chat, please. What do you think is the best capital structure for any organization? Give me two numbers in percent. The first number will be the proportion of the debt, and the second number will be the proportion of your equity. Okay, please. Kindly chat your answers, please. Waiting for your answers, guys. Waiting for your chat. Hello? Still no answer? Guys, just your guess, just your, what's your personal take on this? Hello? Hello, class? Maki-chat na lang, please, kung you believe it should be X% and X%, Y%. Just chat the two percentages. The first percentage will be your debt ratio. The second will be your equity ratio. Hello, can you hear me, class? Paki-chat na lang, guys, kung naririnig niyo ako, kung yes or no. Baka I might be speaking into thin air. Okay, so sige, yes, naririnig niyo naman pala ako, no? Baka pwede naman kayong manghula, guys. Kasi honestly, guys, I sometimes find it difficult to get some response from you. Thank you, Shyler. Si Shyler, may response na 40-60. Simple lang naman, guys, yung ano, yung si Gerard, 0. Thank you, Gerard. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. Sana hindi natin pinapatagal na. 2080. Yeah, yung unang number, 40-60, unang number, debt. Okay. So, again, share your answer, guys, to everyone. Kasi nakikita niyo yung answer ng iba tapos hindi na nakikita yung answer niyo. Please, guys, pag sasagot kayo, okay, unless it's a personal question to me, paki-share nyo to everybody, please. Yung mga nag-direct message to me, paki-share sa lahat. And please, guys, how many times I have to tell you to do that, no? Please. Para hindi na tayo pa ulit-ulit ng instructions. Share always your answer to everyone. Okay. Alright. Kasi paano makikita ng iba yung answer nyo kung ako lang nakakita? How can others see your answer if it was only directed to me? Alright. So we have different answers. We have 10. We have 40-60, 30-70, 20-80. Okay. All right, we have 40-60. Okay, so let me see. Let's start with Gerard. Now, why 0-100, Gerard?
Wala lang sir, like zero that right? So 0%. So
Okay,
guess lang.
but you must be coming from something. Kasi some would answer that, no? May magsasagot na ganyan. Pero why? Personally, why? Is it because you don't like debt? Okay, just like Maxine, it's 1090, a very small percentage of that. A very small percentage of that, and also Diana. Okay, so for some people, they don't like debt. No? I know of some who say he or she cannot sleep if that person has debt. So it's a personal preference. No? So pag personal, that's of course it's a decision made by the person. But for companies, guys, I'll explain in a while why this is a critical answer, yung 0-100%. Okay, on the other hand, meron namang some people would do 100%, 100-0. Some people would say, I would rather use other people's money. Okay, if that can happen, if it's possible for me to borrow everything from the bank and I do not put in money, then that means I was able to set up a business where I was using other people's money. Theoretically, that sounds very interesting. That sounds very enticing, because imagine you're able to establish a business where you didn't use any of your money, you just borrowed money from, let's say, from the bank or from other institutions, and then if you're able to make the project good, okay, so you're able to pay, and then you're able to pay without you putting out any money. Okay, so it sounds very, let's say, enticing. Okay, however, for all intents and practices, that might be impossible in the real world because nobody will lend you 100% without you putting in your own equity. Okay, that's what we call due diligence. Financing institutions or lending companies will, of course, what they'll say first is if you're a business, okay, may I see your financial statements? And then if they see that you have no equity and all your assets are financed by debt, then of course they will say, no, sorry, we can't lend you money because you don't have any equity. All your financing are coming from debt. So in the real world, that's quite impossible. Okay, on the other hand, as we said a while ago, the other one is 0-100. So the owners of the business might not want debt. Okay. However, later on we'll learn that debt has its place. Okay, debt has its place. Number one, a company will not always have sufficient resources. Suppose there's a very good project and then you don't have enough funds for that. So will the company just say, sorry, you can't embark on this project because we don't have enough funds? So can the company borrow? If it's possible to borrow, why not borrow? Okay, and if the returns are greater than the cost of borrowing, then will the company be able to generate, increase the value of the shareholders? Yes. Okay. Yes. So the debt has a role to play, and primarily because no company, even Microsoft or the big companies in the Philippine setting, PLDT or this telecommunications company, they don't have sufficient funds. Okay, there will always be projects available that they can embark on where they don't have the necessary funds, so they have to borrow. So if you take a look at the financial statements of these good performing companies, Jollibee, San Miguel, they have debt, huge debt, because they know the value of debt, because they can turn this quote unquote other people's money into productive assets that will generate profits for them. Okay, so they don't have sufficient cash always. Okay, so debt is very important. So back to my question, what is the best capital structure? Okay, is it 50-50? Okay, so in answer to that, and I'll stop here because it's already time. So 50-50 is the optimal capital structure? No. Is it 60-40? You think, guys? No. Is it 40-60? No. Is it 70-30? Or 30-70? Neither. Okay. Wala dyan. So what's what we call the optimal capital structure? When you say capital structure, okay, it looks like a building. Okay, this is the resources of the firm, and then this much was contributed by debt, this much was contributed by equity. So this is the structure, the resources owned by the firm. That's what we call capital structure. And the optimal capital structure is the capital structure that, class, that okay, this one is the optimal capital structure. And what's this, class? What's this? Anyone? 10 seconds. It's already time. Almost time pala, hindi pa time. What's this, class? May 3 minutes pa pala ako. It's the capital structure that, okay, again, Diana, please share your answer to everyone. Yes. Okay, thank you, Gerard. It's the capital structure that maximizes shareholder value. Okay, yun. Maximize shareholder value. Okay, so is it 0, 100%? Depends. If that's the capital structure that maximizes shareholder value, then that's the optimal capital structure, which, by the way, would not happen really. No? Neither 100% 0. Those two extreme cases will not be the optimal capital structure. Kasi may advantages given by using debt and advantages using equity. All right. So let me just go back to this one where we were. So we end here, guys. Okay, ito na lang pala. Let me just may 3 minutes pa ako. So investment principle, in which industries will the company invest in? What projects will they invest in? Okay, that's very important in finance. Next, financing principle. Okay, how do we fund the project? Okay, how do we fund the project? Should we borrow money? Should we ask shareholders to infuse more capital? And if so, what should be the capital structure to maintain? Okay, so these are fundamental questions. These are first principles in finance. And we said that overarching principle is that the capital structure should be optimized. And third, this decision making, dividends and return of capital. Okay, should the company issue dividends or should they return the capital already? Okay, we call it treasury stock, right? Treasury stock when a company buys back the shares of stock. Okay, all right. So what decision is there here? Decide how and when to return capital to investors if necessary. Decide if the company will issue dividends or decide if the company will acquire treasury stock or get back these shares of stock of the investors. Okay, so these three are very important key principles, and we call it first principles in finance: investment principle, financing principle, and dividend principle. Okay, so let me pause for a while and ask you, class, your feedback. How is it so far? Okay, so far, class, are we learning something about the functions of finance, important functions of finance? Okay, chat naman please kung may questions or okay so far yung lessons natin. Would appreciate your feedback, please. Sana bilisan to, guys. Don't have to think for 10 minutes again. This is a simple question. And sana maka 21 man lang na responses. Kasi hindi pa ako nakaka-reach ng 100% response from you. Yan. Titigil na naman yan sa 14, 15, 16. Okay. Okay. Ibig sabihin talaga may 5 or 6 na I don't know where they are. Okay. Next time, it will be graded recitation. No? So that I know who are not paying attention. Okay. Kasi simple lang naman yung question ko, yes or no lang. Okay, stop recording.